Happy New Year, everyone. A big ohazas to you all, and welcome to 2025. It's episode 82 here at the Ohazas podcast, and we've got a couple of topics lined up as always, as well as Word of the Day, which we do every episode. It's a word that we share related to one of the stories or one of the things that we've spoken about during the show, and you can also catch those words as little graphics on cards which have hiragana, katakana, or English, all those, the different ways to write them and how to pronounce it, and all that kind of stuff over on our X channel at Ohazas Podcast. And by the way, I also put a little hashtag on every single Word of the Day post, which is Ohazas WOTD, which stands for Word of the Day. And if you click on that hashtag, you'll be able to see all of our words come up on your feed in a nice little, neat little way. Anyway, so I'm over here at this beautiful park. I'll give you a quick look around, and you can see how awesome it is here this morning. It's about 8:30 in the morning, and we've got beautiful sunrise over here, and you can see how nice and blue the sky is, and it's looking fantastic. Anyway, welcome to 2025, and we've got today, where am I? Here I am. So for New Year's this time round, I went to a place called Niigata Prefecture, which is on the other side of Japan. I'm located on the Pacific Ocean side, and Niigata is all the way over on the Sea of Japan side. And as you can probably imagine, it's a lot colder, and they usually get a lot more snow. But unfortunately, when I went, there was only a lot of rainfall, no snow. However, it was quite cold, so I got the cold, but no snow. But on the way, I took a bullet train over there from Tokyo, and that was actually really interesting. I'd like to share some information about that. There's a little system called Bune something or other, and I'll put that up on the screen here if you're watching on YouTube. And the Bune ticket is something that you get with points that you accumulate with something called JR East, the JR East point system. And so what happens is, as far as I know, is that when you make purchases, you get points, like the usual kind of point systems that you get. And then when you get enough points, you can exchange those points for Bune tickets. Now, what a Bune ticket is something like a mystery flight, where, with the aeroplane, where you get a mystery flight ticket, you buy a ticket and you don't know where you're going to go until after you get the ticket. And so this is the Shinkansen version of that. And so what happens is you get your ticket, and it tells you, before you buy the ticket, it actually tells you 4 possible places where you might be going. And then after you get the ticket, it tells you which one it is. And let me just adjust this camera for a second. It seems to be a bit too low. There you go. And so you get the ticket. It tells you which possible 4 destinations it might be. And then as soon as you purchase the ticket, I think it tells you within about a day, because they have to organise their stuff on their end. And it's obviously a way for them to fill up seats which are empty, and make use of their trains, because, if the trains aren't full, it's kind of like a waste of resources, right? So they want to fill up their trains. So I think this is a really interesting and a smart way for them to make use of trains which aren't operating to full capacity. And that was really fun. So over in Niigata, even though it was raining, the station area had a lot of stuff to do. There was a beautiful place. I'll put some pictures up. Beautiful place where you can taste test sake, Japanese rice wine, and also to get some beautiful food that goes along with it. There's a lot of food. It's very interesting. Sake is an interesting one. The first time I tried it back in Australia many years ago, decades ago, I remember thinking, it's okay, but maybe not my cup of tea. But then as soon as I started eating food that goes well with sake, with the Japanese rice wine, I was like, wow, okay, now I get it. It's kind of like wine and cheese. It's a fantastic combination. Red wine and steak, I love that kind of stuff. Seafood with white wine, it's how it works, with alcohol and foods. But it was fantastic. So you get all these beautiful foods that you can choose from at this restaurant / bar called Ponshukan. They have a couple of different branches there in the Niigata station area. And there's a restaurant, and there's a place where you can put coins in and get really cheap sort of samples of different types of sake, so you can taste test everything. The place I went to, you can purchase, I think it was 3 different glasses from a pre-selected range of rice wine, and I got these 3 here. I'll put a picture up, and they were all fantastic. And they kind of range between dry and sweet, so you can get the full spectrum of flavours. But fantastic place to visit, Niigata, and I really hope I can go again, probably when the weather's a bit nicer. And also, I'd love to go there again when there's some snow. But definitely consider it if you're planning on going somewhere new in Japan. Another quick little story about my trip to Niigata. On the way, I went to a place called Sengen Jinja, which is Sengen Shrine, close to Mount Fuji-ish, I think. There was a service area stop where we stopped, and I've got a photo from there as well. I'll slap that up. But yeah, that was a fantastic little shrine. Had a really nice walk around that shrine, and there were about 100 or so stairs that you have to climb up to get to the hiking trail up there, and went up there and got a fantastic picture of Mount Fuji as well from there. It was fantastic. But on the way, there was also this service area. Stopped there, got myself a eel. Yes, eel. Doesn't sound right, but that's what it was. Eel cola. So it's basically a type of cola, and it contains, according to the label, some kind of eel extract. I don't know. I don't want to know what eel extract is or how you get it, but it was in there and I was curious. So I bought some and I tried it, and it was actually okay. It just tasted like regular, nice cola. There are traditional colas that you can buy, not Coca-Cola, where you can taste the spice a little bit more. There are spices and things in cola. So yeah, that was actually quite nice. And along the way, yeah, I stopped over there at Sengen Shrine and had a look up there. There was a coffin, which is a burial mound, and that was kind of interesting to see. There was this sign up there that said, this net is here to sort of stop the bats from entering here. So kind of maybe they had some bat issues over there. So maybe it's somewhere that you don't want to go at night unless you're into bats and scary scenes like that from the bat cave. But otherwise, fantastic place to visit. I highly recommend it. And apparently as well, one of the oldest shrines in that area. I think it dates back about a couple of thousand years according to their website. So that was kind of interesting to see as well on the way. Okay, next I'm going to get into something which has been a bit of a learning experience. Sweet potatoes. Have you ever tried making sweet potatoes? It's not as easy as it sounds. Well, it is, but it isn't. Let me explain. The first time I tried doing this at home, I got some sweet potatoes and I put them in my rice cooker because I was told that the rice cooker is a really easy, quick way to make nice sweet potatoes at home. So I put them in the rice cooker and they were fantastic. They were cooked thoroughly, they were sweet, they were juicy, and they were fantastic. One little problem though, no caramelization. And so I started my quest, my journey to find out how to make them caramelized, because that's where the deliciousness is for me with sweet potatoes. I love the chewiness or that sweet caramelized aroma and that texture you get on the skin or around the skin. And so I wanted to recreate that. And this was kind of inspired by a sweet potato that I bought at another service area. I think it was again in Shizuoka, and they had these silk sweet variety of sweet potatoes, which are absolutely fantastic. And they weren't cheap. They were about 400 yen for half a potato, which isn't that cheap, right? It's like 800 yen for a full potato. And it was heaven. It was just absolute heaven. The skin was edible, crispy, and inside was moist and sweet. And it was just heaven. Like I said, heaven. But so that was my endeavor. I was trying to recreate that. And then I went online and I had a look at the different ways that people do it on YouTube. There were Japanese channels that said put them in foil, chuck them in the oven at 160 degrees and leave them in there for a couple of hours or something like that. And I tried that and it was so-so, to be honest. It was kind of dry. I don't know why. Maybe I had a bad batch of potatoes. It could be a possibility. And then I thought, wait a second. Maybe there's a bit of, I can combine the two to get the best of both worlds. The rice cooker to cook them while keeping all the moistness, the juiciness, without making them go dry, and then put them in the oven for about an hour to crisp them up. And so I gave that a shot, and it wasn't an hour. I think it was more like almost a couple of hours. And I turned them around midway. It was, I think, about 40 minutes on each side. At about 160, 170. And they came out absolutely divine. They were just beautiful. moist on the inside, caramelized on the outside, and it was fantastic. And then I put that up on my X feed, and Steve Lyman, I think his name is, sorry Steve if I got your name wrong, Steve is a shochu master. He's got a fantastic book out, which I actually bought a couple of years ago. Fantastic book. I highly recommend looking into that if you've got a chance. But Steve replied to my post and said, why, there's no need for the rice cooker thing. You can just slap them in the oven without foil. Just poke a couple of holes to let the steam escape and chuck it on, I think he said 160 at, did he say 80 minutes? Yeah, I think Steve said 80 minutes and turn them over at half time. So I gave that a shot, and I know my oven, and it's winter, so I know that it's a bit on the low side, so I put it on 170. And I made these yesterday actually, and they were absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Stephen, for that tip. And I'm going to be doing that again. And I do want to try it one more time with the rice cooker in the oven combo, but I think I'm onto something, and I think it's a fantastic way to make them without any fuss. There's no need to wrap them up in foil or do the rice cooker thing, and they just come out absolutely perfect. There was syrup coming out of them. I poked them with a toothpick, and there was like syrup coming out of that toothpick hole. It was, it was heavenly. Honestly, it was like just eating it on its own. It felt like, it tasted like a full-on a dessert that had been made or prepared. And it's just nature at its best, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the episode. And today's word of the day, which we do at the end of every episode, is related to the sweet potato thing. And this word is actually from an English, or perhaps it's from French, because sometimes you can tell from the pronunciation or the way that it's been transliterated into Japanese that it's not quite the English. So I'm guessing it might be closer to the French, but I don't speak French, so I don't know for sure. If you know, let me know. And I might get this wrong, but I think it's Karamarize. I'm going to look that up and say it again because I don't want to get it wrong. Okay, I'm back. So I've checked it on online. So the way to say this in Japanese, karamarize. And so in English, if I were to do it from English, it would be karameraizu would be my version if I were to do it from scratch. But it's karamarize, and I'm thinking it might be from French, but I don't know for sure. It's worth checking out perhaps. But that's today's word of the day, and I reckon it's something that I'll be using often because I love things that are caramelized, and yes, I hope it comes in handy for you as well. I'll be putting that up, as I mentioned at the start of the episode, on the X feed, along with a little graphic card which shows how to write it in Japanese, and also a little explanation of it and the English version of it as well. And I'll be putting that Ohazas WOTD hashtag on there, which is for word of the day. Anyway, thanks very much for listening and tuning in as always. I hope 2025 turns out to be a fantastic year for both you and for me. And I look forward to coming back again, hopefully within about a week or so for episode 83. Anyway, that's all from me today. I wish everyone a fantastic morning and a day ahead, and bye for now.